Hi, I'm here to educate you guys on keeping your infant safe when going home from the hospital and installing your seat properly. So I'm going to start now with the base. So most of these rear-facing only seats come with a base. When you go to install this, we want to either attach with the latch system, which is using these, or you can use the seat belt. You want to use one or the other and not both. When you use both, it adds stress to the seat and can make it malfunction. So no version is better than the other. What you want to do is use the system that you can get the tightest install with. So if you use the latch system, which any vehicle 2014 and newer has the latch system per the laws. So usually it's in the two outboard seats. Some vehicles have it in all three rows or all three seats, or for second row, third row. So wherever you plan on installing your baby, you can try with that. So what you do with these is, this one is easily here in the center, so you can pull this up and get all the slack out of the belt here. You want to install one, install the other. You wait for that click, be able to hear that click, and then you want to tug on them just to make sure that it's actually on there and it's not going to fly off in an accident. And then how you test the tightness is you're going to use your non-dominant hand and you can wiggle it. So obviously before we tighten it, it's going to be way too loose. So what you're going to do is you're going to push down and back towards the seat, and then you're going to pull this out until you can't pull anymore. And then you're going to test your non-dominant hand. You're going to take it at the belt path here, which the back of the seat's going to be here, right? So we're going to grab this and we're going to wiggle. Again, if there's any wiggle room more than an inch, it's not tight enough. So we either have to try harder, try to push against it, or maybe even try that seatbelt method to see if that'll get us tighter. So let's just say that we can't get this one tight, so we're going to go ahead and use that seatbelt. You're going to thread the seatbelt through here, through the belt path here, up and over here, and then back down through this slot here, and then you're gonna buckle it in. And then the same thing, you're gonna push down and push back towards the back of the seat, and you're gonna pull all the slack out of that seat belt and then lock the seat belt. And then what you can do, most of these bases have, it's called the lock-off method. So you'll put the strap back through there, and then that car seat buckle is not going anywhere. So then again, you can test it. You'll grab non-dominant hand here at the belt path and you'll wiggle. Again, you want less than an inch movement. If you still can't get it tight enough, what we do is, if you have an SUV, you can lay the seat back a little bit, try to pull the slack out of that again, and then you put the seat back up, and then usually that gets it super, super tight. So that was great. Another thing when installing these is you want to make sure that you're on flat ground, because if you're on a hill, it can throw off this bubble. So when you're installing this, we want it to be at the right angle, because usually newborns do not have any neck muscles, so they cannot control their heads. So we want this to be at the right angle. That way they're at the right angle in the seat, so that we don't have any risk for SIDS or chin to chest. So what we do is, the rule of thumb is flat ground. If you feel like you're not sure if you're on flat ground, you can go to a gas station. Gas stations always have flat ground. And if your base does not have the bubble, or if your seat does not have a bubble, there is always a line on these seats, which this one I think is on the seat here. So sometimes it's bright red like this, sometimes it's like a black line, like a plastic piece. Your seat has it somewhere, you just have to look and try and find that. So you can install your seat without the base. It's just more convenient in the base, because then this is already installed properly. So all you have to do when you put the seat in the base is just click it and unclick it every single time. But you are able to use it without. So if you want to travel, somebody else is going to have your baby, and you don't want to bring the base with you, you can pop the seat in the car seat, or in the car, and then the seat belt is going to go through these here. Almost all of the car seats have these. And again, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put the seat belt through that belt path, buckle it in, pull it tight, and then lock the seat belt. And then the same thing there. Just make sure there's no wiggle room, and make sure that that line is straight. Again, you don't want your baby sitting straight up like this or sitting way back like this. We want them at the correct angle. So just make sure that that red line is straight. I know a lot of people question, they're like, oh, my car seat is moving too much. We don't care so much about this part moving. This is supposed to move in case of an accident. We want that car seat to move a little bit, but this is the important part. This is where it's installed. This is where it should not move. So we're gonna go ahead and install this here. So when you install the car seat into the base, you should hear it click, and then you just wanna check and make sure that it is actually pulled up and it's locked in there. You're not gonna have any accidents there. And then the straps for a rear facing only car seat should be at or below the baby's shoulders. Most of these seats come with like a newborn insert, which is usually a butt pad and a head pad. The butt pad does have a weight limit, so just make sure you read your manual and know what your limit is. Usually it's like 11 to 13 pounds. Again, every car seat's different, so just read your manual to know for sure. Once your baby hits that weight or is pretty close to that weight, we want to remove that just because it's not safe for them anymore to have that in there. That adds extra bulk in there for them. So with that being said, when you do take that pad out, you might have to lower your straps again because it does, like I said, add some bulk. So it might make your baby a little bit taller, and then when you take it out, it obviously makes them sink down in their seat, and we want those straps to be below or at their shoulders. This car seat is from 2018. So most of these bucket seats or rear facing only seats are good for about 5 years. But again, you have to read the sticker on here. It will tell you, which this one is under here. It will tell you when it's made and when it expires. So you never want to use an expired car seat, and you never want to buy from somebody that you don't know because you don't know the history of the car seat. If a car seat's been in an accident, we have to get rid of it and we have to get a new one. Insurance will pay for that. So if you are ever in an accident, don't use that seat again. Contact your insurance and get that figured out. With that, so this one, in order to adjust the straps, you have to do it on this little system here. So with this, you would just unhook these, and then you always want to make sure that these straps are equal. So either in the same hole and through the same hole through that fabric in the front. Just make sure everything is aligned and even. And then again, just make sure the whole strap is in the whole system there and nothing's hanging out. This is kind of difficult to get on and off, so you might have to play with it, work with it a little bit, but it's a good thing. We don't want this coming off or breaking off if we're in an accident. So that's that. Some of the newer ones are clipped. So what you can do is you like literally squeeze the back and you can move it up and down. Those are so nice and so convenient, but again, not every car seat has those. So that being said, let's talk about the straps in here. So those newborn inserts that I had talked about earlier come with your seat. You never want to add anything extra into your seat. So a lot of these stores nowadays sell like the cute little frilly things you can put underneath for extra head support, or the cute little straps to go over here. We don't want to add anything extra into that seat because it wasn't crash tested with this seat. We don't know how it's going to function. Usually their branding and their marketing says that it's crash tested, it's fine, but we don't know that it's specifically crash tested with this car seat, so we don't know that it works. You can contact whatever brand car seat that you get, and you can ask them specifically, is it okay if I use this brand? And they'll tell you yes or no. If they give you the yes, again, you want that in written, verbal proof. That way, in case anything were to happen, then you have that legal wise. So let's go through, if you, let's say I use this car seat with my daughter and then I want to use it again with my son and I lost my headpiece. I can contact the brand of the car seat, let them know what I have, which all the information is going to be on the back of your seat or in your manual. And you can message them and they will send you new stuff. So again, do not go out and buy the stuff from the store. It's not crash tested for your seat. So let's work on installing here. So it's easiest if all car seats have this button here. Sometimes it's hidden underneath the fabric. You can push this button down and you can pull all the slack out of the seat belts. That just makes it easier for you to get your baby in and out of that seat. The easiest part for me to get that tight install is to start with the crotch strap here. So we're going to buckle both of those in, and then I like to pull the slack out of mine first just to get it tight against the baby's legs, and then I leave this unbuckled. I get it to where it's somewhat fitting against the baby, then I'll buckle this, pull it all the way down, and then what you want to do, it's called the reverse pinch test. So you will grab the top of this here and you'll pinch the strap. And then you're gonna pull until that pinch is gone, until it falls out of your hands. And then you move the chest clip up to about, right at about chest level, armpit level, so it sits right over there. We want that chest clip over the bony prominence, because if we're in an accident, we would rather it go there and be protected by those bones than be too low, and it can puncture any sort of like GI or liver, something like that, an organ. Okay, and then again, you can test, you can pinch it. If you can't pinch it, it's at the perfect tightness for that baby. You just want to make sure that there's no slack in there. Down here, it's fine as long as you pulled all the slack out prior. Okay, and then again, you want to get your baby out, push the button, pull it all the way out, and you just unbuckle, and you can get baby out pretty easily. The Illinois state law is to keep babies rear facing until they're the age of 2. But it is best practice to keep them rear facing until they max out their car seat, which is, a lot of them have high limits. Most of them are 40 pounds, and then there are a couple that go to 50 pounds. So these infant rear facing only car seats, they are either 30 or 35 pounds. Again, you'd have to read your manual to see which one's which. I have the Kiko KeyFit 30 with me right now. This one is 30 pounds or 30 inches. So whatever your baby hits first is when you need to get them up to the next seat, which would be like a convertible car seat or a rear facing transition seat, all in one seat. And then with that, you want, if your baby's head is kind of coming over the top, some babies are longer than others. So if it's their torso and their head is way up here, it's time to switch them too. So even if they're not 30 pounds, if they're not 30 inches, if their head is greater than an inch away from the top of the seat, it's time to get them out of there. Which again, most of the time when they're that big, we don't want to carry them around in here anyways. We want to get them in that bigger seat. So I am here usually 3 days a week. So if you guys have any questions while you're here, need help installing, you can always have them check and see if I'm here. I can help, give any advice, answer any questions for you. You can also call the unit and see if I'm here, and I can answer any other questions or concerns.